Welcome back. Well, the setup, at least from the Asian market perspective, is looking positive, and we're hoping that the bulls will get a chance to bounce back today. That's what the implied open is suggesting. So now let's talk about individual stocks, and plenty of news flow over the weekend. Our team is standing by with the CNBC-TV18 list of top stocks to watch this Monday morning. Hi, guys. Good to have all of you all here. Let's start with some bright and sparkling news that came in from Titan in the form of that Q2 update. Mangalam, tell us more.
Well, it's a good update that has come in. You know, if you just look at the absolute performance as well, jewelry revenue growth of 26% after a soft first quarter performance is pretty good. The company said that the like-to-like sales in their domestic operation also came in mid-teens. The only thing we need to watch out for is how much of that is one-off and how much of that is preponement because of the customs duty cut. Because that's what the company and all other jewelry players are saying as well. The reduction in customs duty aided their demand this time around. So let's see whether, festive season demand also stays as much, or was there some preponement? Did people borrow, from the next couple of quarters for the second quarter itself? They added 24 new Tanishq stores during the quarter. The other thing we'll have to watch out for is the non-solitaire studded segment, which recorded, growth in high double digit, but solitaire segment saw a decline amidst price uncertainty. So overall studded sales this time around were lower. So to that extent, whether the company will hold their margins at that 11% mark that they'd guided for or not. For starters, see the stock open in the green. Thereafter, we'll see where it goes.
Okay, all right, Mangalam, thanks a lot for that. Well, I'm looking at Tata Steel. They have come out with their operational numbers, provisional numbers for the past quarter. The India business, good growth, around 5.8% in terms of, deliveries is what they have given. The Netherlands business, well, remember they had a realignment of one of their blast furnaces. So on a quarter-to-quarter basis, it's a flattish number, but on a year-on-year basis, it looks quite good. The UK business, they're transitioning into green steel. So because of that, you have that decline out there because some of those furnaces have been shut. And Thailand is more or less flattish. So just to recap all the, top highlights of the past quarter, for Netherlands, realignment is done, so you have good growth. Europe is going through the transition phase. So for the next few quarters, it will be a more or less flattish or a degrowth is what we are likely to see out there. And India, well, we have commissioned that big facility at Kalinganagar, state-of-the-art out there. So that's what's going to help volume growth for the second half of the year. Expect the stock to open up in the green on the back of this update.
All right. Nigel, thanks for that. Tata Motors and JLR have got updates. Vinny's here to update us. Vinny, good morning.
Good morning. So yes, we're keeping an eye on Tata Motors because we have seen those JLR UK sales number that have come in. Good numbers when you're looking at it for the month of, between July to September. 33% uptick there, 10,807 units is what they've managed to sell during this period. So yes, a good uptick versus last year, the same period. Specifically, when you're looking at it in terms of brands, Jaguar, they managed to sell around 1,814 units. That's a bit of a subduedness versus last year. But Land Rover and all those brands in terms of the Land Rover brand, that has managed to see an increase of 47% versus last year, coming in at around 8,933 units. Overall, for JLR UK sales, we're seeing it's a multi-month high level in terms of the number of sales of units. And that is why we're expecting a bit of a green coming in even for Tata Motors today.
Okay, all right. We'll watch out for Tata Motors. Vinny, thank you for that. Let's go to Abhishek. Lots of updates have come in over the weekend. I think he's picking up IndusInd Bank, Federal Bank, and L&T Finance to begin with. Abhishek, good morning.
Good morning. So the fight is on deposits, and that's coming in at a huge cost for many of the lenders. Let's begin with IndusInd Bank. CASA ratio is at 33 quarter low, and in terms of loan growth on a YY basis is the lowest that you are seeing in last 10 quarters. Now deposits are up 14.7% YY and about 3.5% sequentially. CASA ratio is at 33 quarter low, coming in at 35.9% versus 36.7%. So most of the deposit growth has come in from the term deposits. Advances growth is at 13.2% YOY and about 2.6% sequentially. Credit deposit ratio has declined for them both YOY and quarter-on-quarter. In terms of Federal Bank, the deposit growth now that's declined sharply and it might be at a multi-quarter low. So let's take a look. Deposit growth is at 15.6% YOY, which is the lowest growth that you are seeing in last 7 quarters, and sequentially the deposit growth is just 1.1%, which is the weakest in last 9 quarters. So CASA ratio, that declining trend they have arrested. CASA ratio is at 30.2%, 30.07% versus 29.3%. Now, certificates of deposit, now which is a high-cost deposit, that's increased by 11.5% on a sequential basis. So, net interest margin can come under pressure. Advances growth is at 19.3% YOY and about 4.3% sequentially. CD ratio has improved for them both YOY and quarter-on-quarter. L&T Finance, the disbursements are on the weaker side given the fact that rural economy is not performing well. So in terms of retail disbursements, they are up 11.5% YOY and about 1.5% sequentially. In this, the rural business finance disbursements are down both YOY and quarter-on-quarter. Farmer finance disbursements, they are down 6.5% on a sequential basis. So retail loans overall remain strong, growing at 28% YOY and about 5.3% sequentially. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Abhishek. Well, let's hop across to Sonal. She's here to tell us about the real estate updates that we've got in Godrej Properties and Macrotech. Morning, Sonal.
Good morning, Nigel. Let me start with Godrej Properties. Well, the headline numbers, if we look at YOY numbers, they look good, but that's only for bookings. So bookings are up 3% on a YOY basis, but they have declined around 40% on a sequential basis. Sales volumes, they are down both on a YOY and on a sequential basis, which is not there in the press release, but their collections did well. 69% uptick on a YOY basis, 33% on a sequential basis. The company says they have achieved 51% of the annual guidance for booking value. There's strong demand in some of their newer projects as well. So most of this number on a YOY basis has come in from newer projects. The operating cash flows have surged 120% on a YOY basis. Maybe that's the reason. That is because of the higher collections. But going with red because of that sharp downtick on a quarter-on-quarter basis. For Macrotech, it was a decent set. Pre-sales up 21% YOY, 6% sequentially. Collections up 11% YOY, 14% sequentially, and the company says they are on track to meet that 20% growth guidance. They also acquired 45 acres land for their digital infrastructure. They have entered into agreement to increase their rental income. However, the debt has increased on a sequential basis to 4,920 crore rupees. There's a 600 crore increase on a sequential basis for the company.
All right, Sonal, thank you very much for that. So keep an eye out on those real estate names. Banking and more on banking. Bandhan Bank, AU Small Finance Bank, all reporting business updates. Abhishek, tell us more.
Well, Prashant, to begin with Bandhan Bank, now they are growing the balance sheets with bulk deposits or high-cost deposits, and that will put pressure on the net interest margin. Take a look at deposits. They are up 27% YOY and about 7% sequentially. The CASA ratio, that continues its downward trajectory. It's now at 33.2% versus 38.5% YOY and about 33.4% on a sequential basis. Now, bulk deposits, they are up almost 58% YOY and 11.7% sequentially. So the net interest margin can come under pressure as we are in a high interest rate scenario. Advances growth is at 21.5% YOY and about 4% sequentially. The credit deposit ratio, that's declined sharply to 91.7% versus 96% in the same quarter last year and about 94-95% in the previous quarter. AU Small Finance Bank, we cannot do a YOY comparison due to the merger of Fincare Small Finance Bank. So on a sequential basis, their deposit growth is perhaps the highest in the banking sector. Overall deposit growth is at 12.75% on a sequential basis. CASA ratio has dipped marginally to 32.4% versus 33% sequentially, and healthy loan growth, their overall loan growth is at 5.25% on a sequential basis. Back to you.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that. We'll watch for all of those updates. By the way, that's important news flashing. So we can easily probably add IEX to begin with to our list of stocks to watch, because these are directions coming in from CERC, and I think they're saying that intraday contracts will maybe stopped or modified, and then there is a new stipulation in terms of some of the contracts and what exchanges are allowed to do on the power side and the kind of clearances and approvals that they're seeking from the Commission. We'll get Vivek in on this and get some more details going, but yeah, IEX should also be in focus on the back of the news on our screens. Well, with that, let's quickly recap the rest of the stocks to watch today. The ones that have positive news flow are Titan, Tata Steel, Tata Motors, Macrotech Developers, AU Small Finance Bank, while stocks with negative news flow include IndusInd Bank, Federal Bank, L&T Finance, Bandhan Bank and Godrej Properties. Okay, let's figure out what's happening in the world of commodities. We have Manisha joining in with a roundup of all the action. Manisha, so much news flow, right? From the jobs report to the Middle East and everything that's going on over there. Give us a roundup.
Oh, well, absolutely, sir. This would be never a dull day, really. But I'll start with the crude oil prices, where we have seen 10% of gains in the previous week. It is the best weekly gain since October 2022. And with those kind of gains, we are trading at a 5-week highs. Well, potentials of a supply disruption on Middle East is still a top headline, and that is continuing to support markets. Obviously, we haven't crossed 80 yet because there isn't an actual supply disruption, and then the global supplies are enough. But this is an everyday event, and markets will keep a keen eye. In the space of metals, it really is going to be about China suggesting that they are going to discuss policies to boost economic stimulus tomorrow as well. So in the next 24 hours, there could be a lot of choppiness. But the week has started on a stronger note. Silver prices are trading at a 12-year high. There is, of course, support from gold, and the industrial demand also is supportive. The recent China stimulus and measures have been supportive as well. So you are looking at copper and aluminum still holding near their 4-month highs. Steel is trading at a 3-month highs. Zinc prices at an 8-month high as well. So most of the commodities within the metal sector also continue to hold firm.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Manisha. Well, India's most coveted leadership awards, the IBLA Awards presented by CNBC-TV18, will be back for its 10th edition later this year. The awards, which aim to honor the visionaries behind outstanding businesses, will feature a star-studded jury, which features Bharat Forge Baba Kalyani as the jury chair. Other jury members include Ashok Vaswani of Kotak Mahindra Bank, C.S. Shetty of SBI, and Standard Chartered Bank's Zareen Daruwala. Asian Paints Amit, we have Apollo Hospitals Sunita Reddy, and L&T's R. Shankar Rama. They'll also be part of the jury, along with Titan Capital's Kunal Bal and Cognizant's Ravi Kumar. You can meet this most influential and credible jury at 5:30 p.m. today, only on CNBC TV18. Well, time to slip into a short break. Up next, we'll come back and we'll have Prakash Diwan, who will be joining in to help us out with some fundamental analysis.